have learned different lessons in the past week. I'm sure your teacher in science made some follow-up activities regarding those useful and harmful materials. Good morning. This is Christian Soriano from Perpetua R. San Diego Elementary School. And class, I want you to join me in this another fruitful and useful lesson in Science 5. In this morning, we're going to discuss with you some properties of materials. But before we go any further, I'd like to trick you in a short game we have in this morning. Simply, in this game, you're going to determine which of these two pictures may be harmful after being used. Think of a material after it is being used. Would it be harmful after you dispose it? And then another, once you have identified this material, I want you to dispose this material when the dump truck arrives. As an example, I want you to look at this. Now, I have here old newspapers and an empty can of aerosol spray. Class, do you think which of this material might be harmful once being used? Yes, you made the right guess. Newspapers can be recycled, while aerosol spray, for all your concerns and knowledge, will end up pollution and might destruct the ozone layer. So one reason we can discard or dispose the aerosol spray. All right? I hope you have followed. Okay, now it's your turn. Now, in these two pictures, we have the automobile exhaust. And on another picture, we have the vegetables and fruit peels. Which of these two materials will end up harmful? I'll give you some time. Yes, I'm sure many of you know that the automobile exhaust is a very harmful materials once being used. Okay, now, this time we have plastic products and compare this to paper products. After being used, these two materials class, which of these two will end up harmful to our environment? I give you some time again. All right, let us see. Yes, old cartons and some paper products can be used and recycled over and over again, while some plastic materials, once disposed to environment, will take some decades to decompose. Another slide. So we have here another plastic products and some organic products like the weavers or those who weave abaka. Which of these materials will end up harmful once being disposed to environment? I'll give you another time for that. What? It seems you have answered in the comment box. And I saw them. Most of you, yes, thrown the plastic product in the dump truck. What is the reason for this? For all your concerns or knowledge of the many, those organic products or like those weavers of the abaca, they can benefit when we patronize their product in this country. Have you enjoyed the game? I'm sure you do. Now, as we move along, our lesson this morning has a specific objective to accomplish. And this time, I want you to identify the properties of materials that determine their uses and harmful effects. What should we do? Yes, first, we need to identify the name of the material and its use. And I want you to identify as well its harmful effect after it is being used. Now, I'm going to show you different videos regarding the properties or the different properties of materials we have. Now, the first one or the first property we have is the hardness. Hardness is the material's ability to resist pressure. Now, the video will show us what hardness is. Yes, there is a helmet. She knocks on it and it seems hard. And a mortar and pestle. Yes, these two materials show the hardness of its component. Can you think of another materials that show its hardness? Yes, some concrete products or some wood materials demonstrate hardness. Another property. Okay, this time it's the malleability. Is it quite hard to understand what malleability is? Malleability is material's ability to be hammered into thin sheets. Most metals are malleable. When we speak of malleable, only metals can be turned into thin sheets without reducing its own strength. Let's have the video. Yes, a spoon is a metal which is malleable or can be turned into thin sheets. And as well as the metal plate, it is thin but strong. All right, I want you to think of those flat metals on your kitchen, and I'm sure they are all malleable. Okay, let's have the third property. We have here the brittleness. Okay, brittleness is material's ability to be broken easily. It looks simple, but look at this video. Okay, there is a biscuit there. She breaks the biscuit into three and share this with you. Now, the property of the biscuit to be broken easily is what we call brittleness. Have you tried to buy some eggs and accidentally broke them? Yes, because eggs are brittle. Who's fond of playing guitar? Do you know that the long string of the guitar suggests ductility? Ductility is material's ability to be drawn into wires. Can you think of a material that can be turned into wire? There will be no other materials that can be drawn into wire except some metals. That's why some telephone cords, electrical wires, and the guitar string are ductile materials. All right? Let's move on. The fifth property is the flexibility class. Flexibility is material's ability to be bent without breaking. Think of household equipment you have at home and determine if they are flexible. When we mean flexible, it is the ability of the material to be bent without actual breaking in it. Okay? Those two materials are flexible and they return to their original shape once being bent. All right? I'm sure inside your home are many flexible materials. Try to identify them. Okay. The next property is the absorbency. What do we mean by word absorbency? Simply, it is the material's ability to hold liquid and pass through within. This video will demonstrate the word absorbency. Okay? The student tried to pour some water on the table and she wipes the wet table. Where does the water go? Yes, the water is being absorbed by the tissue paper. The tissue paper is an absorbent material, just as the cotton balls and fine cloth we have at home. All right? We have the next property. The next property is what we call elasticity. I'm sure in these days of pandemic, you have been using some elastic materials. But to define, elasticity is material's ability to be stretched and return to its original shape. Now, the student will demonstrate what are those elastic materials. Yes, rubber is an elastic material. And it returns to its original shape. And the rubber part or the garter part on your face mask is an elastic one. Okay? Now, this time we have the another property. It is the flammability. It is the material's ability to catch fire easily. But I'm not encouraging you to perform this in your home. Simply, the video will demonstrate you the flammable materials. A piece of paper is a flammable material. Okay? All right. That's why flammable materials must be extinguished after being flamed. I'm sure those light materials like paper products, clothings, and other materials that can simply ignite like wood are flammable materials. Next property, class. The next property is the conductivity. Conductivity is material's ability to allow heat and electricity as well to pass through. Think of this. Now, the student is holding a piece of wire. Now, what she'll do is to connect these wires into batteries and the bulb glows. It simply demonstrates that a piece of wire or electrical wires is a conductive material. Okay? Next, the last property we have is the combustibility. It is the material's ability to burn continuously. Now, take a closer look at the lighted candle. Yes, it sustains its fire continuously. It is because the wick or the part of the candle is being sustained by oxygen. That's why this material is combustible. All right, I have summed up all those properties of materials, and I hope you have note them up, and we're going to proceed on our activity this morning. Now, all you have to do is to identify the properties of the following materials. Write also their basic use and harmful effects. But I suggest that our students in this morning can have different or varying answers in this table. And for this activity, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to answer them. All right, time is up. Now, in this activity, I expect that many of us will have different answers. And I'm sure your teacher in science will provide some instructions or clarifications whenever you did not answer some column in our table. But for you, for those viewers who have answered them well, okay, I'm going to reveal answers, but they might be a little different to your answers. All right, now look, we have the materials glass, kerosene, thumbtacks, old tires, and plastic container. And I have written down all their properties. Glass may be brittle, kerosene may be flammable, thumbtacks is malleable, old tires are elastic, plastic container is flexible. And I also have their uses. Glass is used in window, kerosene is for cooking, thumbtacks to picture decoration on your home walls. Old tires can be used as plant pots. Plastic container as a storage. And some harmful effects of these materials, once being used, glass can cause accident, kerosene can start fire, thumbtacks can injure you, old tires can be home for mosquitoes, and plastic container, since they are non-biodegradable, can last in our environment and end up as pollution. Okay, I hope you have answered this short activity and let us have the main concept of this lesson. Now, in this lesson, I expect that you have learned that materials have different properties that determine their uses. Of course, all the household materials that we have their own useful use, and some, once being disposed, can end up being harmful. And another is those materials that are useful, you can also suggest ways on how you can contribute to minimize the problem. Think of the main concept as your own solution to minimize the problem produced by these harmful materials. All right? Let's have the short quiz. Okay, let's have number one question. Cotton ball is used because it holds alcohol to disinfect or sanitize our wound. What property does cotton ball have? Can you type your answer on the comment box? Yes, the correct answer is absorbency. Number two question. Rubber gloves are used because they can be stretched and go back to their original shape. What property do rubber gloves have? Type your answer in the comment box. Yes, the correct answer is elasticity. The third question is, small tree branches are used as fuel. What property does wood have to sustain fire? Do not forget to type your answer on the comment box, class. Yes, the correct answer is letter A. The fourth question is, electric wires are made up of metals because they are. I want you to continue. And do not forget your answer on the comment box. Yes, electric wires are made up of metals because they conduct electricity. Last question. Metals have many uses because they, I want you to continue and type your answer on the comment box. Yes, you're right. Metals have many uses because they are hard and can be turned into many shapes. Class, I hope you have learned a lot in this morning, especially the topic, the properties of materials. And as an assignment for this morning, I want you to identify one common problem in your community. Think of the problem like land pollution, excessive noise, or high temperature. And I want you to think of a way or your own little way which you can contribute to minimize the problem. Okay? And your teacher in science will give you further instructions regarding your assignment. Okay, I have some notes to parents before we finally end up this live streaming in science. To our dear parents or guardians, I advise to guide your child to accomplish related activities found in learning modules. And dear parents and guardians, feel free to ask your child's teacher regarding the follow-up activities. All those questions that you have in mind will definitely be entertained by your child's science teacher. Lastly, whenever possible, there are some students of ours that could not avail the live streaming or online classes. And for those who can avail the online or streaming classes that we have, I want you to simply share these instructions to fellow learners so that they can still learn without the available gadgets that we have. Okay? I hope, class, you have learned a lot in different properties of materials, and I want you to stay tuned in our future live streaming in science. This is Christian M. Soriano from Perpetua R. Santiago Elementary School from Team Agham. Sa Team Agham, lagi kang may alam.